everyone, welcome to episode 16 of the Backstage Knits Podcast. My name is Catherine and I'm coming at you today from my apartment in beautiful Hartford, Connecticut. This is a knitting podcast with random chatter, little bit of spinning, a little bit of theater, a little bit of my life, including travels around the country and later this year around the world. So if you are a new viewer, thank you so much for checking me out. Feel free to subscribe and like and comment. I love when people do that. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and thank you for your support. In the about a year since I've been podcasting, that includes about a 6-month hiatus when I didn't podcast at all. So here we are, episode 16. Today is Monday, August 1st. I cannot believe it is August 1st. What the what? Yeah, crazy. Very crazy. This year is flying by. You can connect with me on Ravelry. We have a group for the podcast called the Backstage Knits Podcast. You can also find me directly as Backstage Cat Knits. Feel free to join the group, introduce yourself, also send me a friend request if you like. I'm also on Instagram as Backstage Cath, and I love Instagram a lot, so I post there pretty frequently with knitting and tea and random life pictures, so tune in if you like. There are several reasons why I probably should not be podcasting today. It's been like a week and a couple days. I have stuff done. I have a finished object, as you might be able to tell. I don't really have that much progress and works in progress, so it'll be kind of short. I have 0 acquisitions. I have one thing that shipped today, but I'll tell you about it in a sec, and I'll save it for our next podcast. So, plus the weather, it's very gray outside. It is in fact appears to be raining right this second. And I don't know, grayness isn't as good for color, but fussed with the camera settings, so I think we're good to go there. And also, it's the end of the day. I always ramble. And it's Monday, which is weird, but here we are. All that being said, I'm happy to talk to you today. I was excited to discuss my finished object and just talk. I was in a very podcasty mood this weekend. I caught up on I think a month and a half pretty much worth of podcasts that I just hadn't been following in July, but caught up, and so I was like, I can't wait to podcast again. I love my podcast peeps. You all, thank you so much for tuning in. Alright, 3 minutes of rambling aside, let's get down to the good stuff. I have a finished object. I was super monogamous this week and knit basically on one thing for an entire week, but it paid off because I have a finished shawl. Hey-o! What you see around my neck, and I will get up to show you the full splendiferousness of this in just a sec. This is my Pebble Beach shawl by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. Okay, so last time we talked, I was like, gosh, I haven't really used that much yarn. I think I'll make the large version. I had 2 skeins of sport weight. The large version calls for 1 skein of lace weight. I don't really know what I was thinking because I was measuring and I had more... No, what am I trying to say? I was not going to have enough for a medium shawl. Probably had too much, too much for the large shawl, but I ended up making the medium shawl. Just as I was doing my measuring, I was like, you know what? It's going to work out better. I know I'm not going to have enough for the medium, or for the large, and let me just make the medium and not try to cut and paste sections. I probably could have done that. I could have made this slightly bigger. But here's the thing. It doesn't really need to be bigger. Look at this. Look at this ginormous thing. Oh, it's so beautiful. I am in love with this shawl. This is the biggest thing I've ever made. For sure. It looks so good though. My computer just died and I'm hoping that is still, there we go, it's back. Alright, that was terrifying. So, this shawl is made out of about 172 grams of this gorgeousness, which is not focusing, but that's okay, you can see it in the shawl. This is the Verdant Griffin Bugga, which is their sport weight. It is 70% superwash merino, 20% cashmere, 10% nylon, and this is the Clown Spikes Orchid colorway. So this yarn is amazing. It is an MCN, which I did not realize it while I was knitting it. So, because I had my first skein, I wound up both skeins when I got them, and I was gonna design a shawl myself. And so I had wound up the skein and I had lost the tag, and it was knitting on it, and so I had like half a skein that had been knit that I had to pull out and do all that with. And then, so I didn't have the tag with me, I just started making it, and didn't put the second ball in my bag, because, you know, until I was near the point when I would need it. And so, yeah. Until I picked up the second skein, I was like, oh, MCN, that's why it's so soft and squishy. Today, my boss was like, that looks expensive, which I am taking as quite a large compliment, that I made something that, like, actually looks like an expensive thing that someone would buy. I knit this on Addy US 8 needles, 5mm? Yeah. And I actually bound off with a US size 10, 6mm needle. Yeah, I love it. I'm so in love with it. It's a giant monster of a thing. It's like a blanket, but I'm just, it's so soft and pretty, and I love the color. It's just, I'm not usually a purple person, or, you know, I was looking at it today, I like purple. I'm not much of a pink person, but I was looking at it today and there's a lot of pink in here. When it blocked, the kind of maroony got a little bit less and became a little bit more pink, which is fine. I didn't have a lot of bleeding or anything, just, you know, just a little bit. But I'm actually totally fine with it because it's so big and pretty. I highly recommend this pattern. I know many people have knit it, but if you haven't, do it. It comes in 3 sizes, plus there's a shawlette pattern, and I think the way she designed it, it's like, the small size is designed for 1 skein of fingering weight yarn, the medium size is like for light fingering, and the large is for 1 skein of lace weight yarn. And it's a beautiful pattern. It's so intuitive, it's so easy. It's just yarn overs and knit 2 togethers and slip 2, but like it's the most beautiful thing I've ever knit. I mean, no, it's not the most beautiful thing I've ever knit. Waiting for Rain still wins for just beauty, but I'm in love. Last week, I think I podcasted last Friday. I counted. I was about 10 eyelets in. So, let's see. 2. I think I was about here. Look at all that stuff I knit. And as you know, it's a crescent-shaped shawl, so each row gets longer and longer and longer. I ended with, I think, between 410 and 420. I kind of decimated this pattern because I printed off just the large version. And then I decided to make it the real version. So I've got like stars and X's. I don't want to try to show you too much of it. Yeah, you can kind of see my X's. I like redid all my numbers and stuff, so that's not focusing at all, but I don't care. Anyway, I wrote on this pattern a lot, is the point. I love it. Love, 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 love it. Hope you love it too. Knit this shawl. Yarn, top of needles. I think I said everything I wanted to say there. Alright. Ooh, fruity. I hadn't tried that tea before. Quite fruity. Let's do whips. I'm only going to talk about 2 whips because really I only worked on 2 whips. I worked a little bit on my Slipper Berry socks, but they look exactly the same as they've been the past 2 podcasts. Not worth it. So, we'll start with this. You may remember this bag from the last podcast. This is holding my Winter Tornado socks by Yarn Enabler. Except these are not the same Winter Tornado socks that I had last time. So last time I was kind of talking about how they felt like they were going to be a little bit small. I'd been using 2.25 millimeter US 1 needles, and it was pretty thin weight, which for me has worked before with 72 stitches around, but this was not working. Plus, the pattern calls for 64 stitches, and I was trying to modify it. So I wanted to modify it to go to 72 stitches, and this pattern has a thing where you switch the beginning of the row, and my brain just was not functioning on like, can I still switch it where it's supposed to switch if I added stitches on either side? And so I was like, you know what, let me just start over. And I had some DK weight yarn lying around, and so I figured I would knit it as written with DK weight yarn. So that is what I did. Here's my new yarn. This is Ella Ray Lace Merino DK. 100 grams skein. This is, I believe, 100% superwash merino wool. And this is colorway 204, which according to online is the aqua purple colorway, which is a perfectly acceptable name for it. It's got aquas, it's got purples. It's washing out a little bit on my screen right now. It's a little bit more vivid in real life. That might just be the brightness of my settings, but it's very pretty. And this is how it's knitting up. So you can see here, this is the side with the pattern. It's modeling the pattern a little bit, but I'm actually okay with that because I like kind of the stripiness of it. Here's the stockinette section, which is really nice. Some really cool like pinks and purples striped with that aqua. I'm liking it a lot. So I actually started this yesterday, and it is a pattern for the, oh my god, leg. Wow. The leg that you repeat 3 times, and I'm a little bit over 1 repeat to that pattern. So making good progress on it. Like I said last time, I'm doing these one at a time because of the changes in the beginning of the round. I didn't want to have to try to worry about that twice in one row because my brain does not compute that. So one at a time, which makes the socks go much faster. I started those yesterday and I'm already through 1 whole repeat, but then you have to knit another sock. So there's that. Alright, now for something completely different. I did not make any progress this week on my dancing shawl. Like I said, basically knit this all the time. I spent a little bit of time on my slippery berry socks only because Saturday we went for a hike, and I knew I was hiking with my friend who we're kind of lazy hikers in that we stop and take breaks a lot, and I knew that we were going to a place where there was some mountains, and I was like, you know what, I bet we're gonna have time to sit around and I might get some knitting done, maybe even while we're eating lunch, like out at the park or whatever. And so I knit at the top of the mountain. I was not lugging this up a mountain. I was not bringing my tornado socks because those require patterns. I didn't want patterns flying around up on the top of the mountain. So I brought my slippery socks. And I did in fact knit at the top of the mountain. Check out my Instagram page if you want to see. So anyway, finished the shawl. Of course, one needs to cast on another shawl immediately, right? Did not want to work on my knit. Just have no interest. There's a lot to go on that. And it's not like exciting to me. I don't know. So it'll flounder. So earlier in the weekend, maybe even on Friday, I think it was on Friday, I received a note on my Ravelry page that Sarah of the Nitty, Nerdy, and Natural podcast had sent me a pattern gift. I had tested her shawl and she sent me a gift in return, which was very nice of her. Thank you, Sarah. And so I wanted to cast that on immediately. It is the Catkin shawl by Karina Spencer. It's this really cool 2-color shawl with this awesome slip stitch detail down at the bottom. And and so I wanted to cast that on. I put this on my wish list almost a year ago, if not more. I had gotten some 2 colors of yarn for my birthday and wanted to find a shawl out of those, which I need to still knit with, but I'm actually thinking I got colors that are too similar. They're not really going to look good in that shawl, so I need a 3rd color. They've just been kind of sitting in my stash. So anyway, I was out, and I'm like, well, you know what? I don't have enough fingering weight yarn to make this shawl. Let me go buy some more yarn. I'm near Avon. Now, I was not near Avon. I was a lot farther away from Avon than I thought. So it was kind of stupid. But I bought yarn to go with this shawl. This will be color A in the shawl, which, if you remember, is kind of the top and the bottom sections that the slip stitch goes into, and it's kind of the main color in the stripe at the top. This is Malabrigo Sock in the Zarzamora colorway. So it's really pretty, kind of like a muted variegated of blues, purples, and a little bit of green in there. It's quite lovely. From far away it does not look variegated at all, but from up close there's a lot going on there. And then my color B, which is in this incredibly messy cake. My ball winder was not cooperating with me yesterday. This is Yarns to Inspire, which is hand dyed at the store where I purchased that yarn. And Yarns to Inspire, this is their Wonder Base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. This is the Fiddle-Dee-Dee colorway. As you can see, those look pretty nice together. There's definitely pops of purple in this, which are picked up quite nicely by this yarn. So I have started, and this is what I have got so far. It's really cool construction. I mean, look at that seamless edge here. I don't really quite know what I did or how I made it happen, but it's really cool. It's definitely a very interesting construction. It's one that you have to pay attention to a lot. For the most part, there's solid increases, but then there's also these rows that you do a different increase. So it's definitely a concentration type shawl, but that's good. I like my shawls to sometimes be a little bit concentrated. This was very easy, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to do a nice concentration shawl. But I'm very pleased with my color choices. They're playing together quite nicely. And started this yesterday as well, so not a lot done, but enough to kind of give you an indication of at least what the first part is going to be like. Okay, we're still, yeah, sorry. My camera made a weird noise. It appears to still be recording, so I think we're good. Oh no! Oh, sorry. I wanted to put a progress keeper on here. Alright, so that is it for knitting related things. I do, like I said at the beginning, have one acquisition, but it is in the mail and it shipped today, so the last thing I ordered I got one of the mini skein, Princess Bride mini skein sets from Robin of the Teeny Button Studio Etsy shop / the Cherry Pearls podcast. And the last thing I ordered from her came in about 6 days, and in 6 days I will be in Virginia. So I was going to just podcast this week. I'm super excited though about the Princess Bride mini skein set. Obsessed with that movie. Tea. So about a year ago, the yarn store which I frequent the most, Knit and Pearls, decided that they were going to start blending their own tea. Because, you know, knitters like tea. Like seriously, like this is the best business idea. Not making enough money selling yarn, also sell tea. So they started their own tea. Today I am drinking the Honeydew Melon Citrus Blend, which is got honeydew melon cubes, apple pieces, hibiscus, orange, and flavoring and stuff. I believe you can buy this online actually. I think it's just knitandpearls.com. So definitely go check it out. It's very good. It's fruity. This is a fruit blend. There's no actual caffeine or tea in it, But I like honeydew, and I discovered I liked it in teas. Tivana does a really good cucumber melon tea that Tivana does. So, check it out. Life updates. I mentioned I'll be in Virginia. I'm going down Friday and leaving again Monday. I'll just be hopping down there for the weekend. Visiting a couple friends who live down there. Don't have any specific plans. It's kind of I planned the trip and I have plane tickets and things, but it's kind of like out there right now. Don't have really specific plans other than when I'm seeing certain people. I think that's it. I haven't seen any theater since I talked to you last. Not much else is happening. The summer is moving quickly on. Like I said, it's August 1st. My roommate is in Cape Cod this week, so I have the place to myself, which is nice. Although I'm like, wow, I've lived with a roommate for a month. Pretty exciting. I kind of miss it. Definitely nice to have time to yourself. But I'm like, oh, I wish Diana was here. I really think that's it, you guys. I knew this one was going to be pretty short because I just don't have a lot of works in progress. But I wanted to show off my shawl. It's so pretty. Oh, I remember something I wanted to say. Okay, so I was talking to my coworker today, and he was admiring my shawl. He was like, wow, you consider yourself an expert knitter? And I was like, well, no, not really. I've never knit a sweater, and I've never done, like, brioche, for example. There's a lot of things I still haven't done. And it just got me thinking, I've never knit a sweater, I've never done brioche. And I think it'd be really cool to do a brioche knit-along. I know people have done this in the past, but I feel like I've got a decent amount of followers at this point, and that there's at least one person who would perhaps do a knit-along with me. So I'm thinking about maybe doing a knit-along, any brioche thing, starting in September probably. I'm thinking about maybe making the Exploration Station shawl, because a couple of reasons why. First of all, I don't love Stephen West patterns. I know, crazy person. I just haven't loved any of the ones that I've really seen, but I do like that one, and so I figured it would be a good, like, get into Stephen West patterns. If I like knitting that one, maybe I'll try some others. 2, it's a shawl, and I love those. 3, it will help me use up some of my stash, or at least find colors. It will help me play with color, because I'm not very good at that. And 4, it has brioche. But it's just got a slight section of brioche, you know? So it's a good, like, not such a huge brioche project that, like, it would totally implode. So, thinking about having a 2 to 3 month brioche along, starting in September, possibly October. You know what? Actually, probably October, because I'm going to Spain in September. I'm not bringing brioche with me. That's just not going to end well. So, let me know if you're interested in a future brioche along. I'd have prizes and all that jazz. So, yeah, put a comment in the Ravelry group or the YouTube comments, or just send me a message on Ravelry or YouTube or whatever, and let me know if you'd be into it. I'd have prizes. It'd be one of those things. So, yeah. Let me know. I think that would be cool. Alright, well that is it. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope that wherever you are, you're having a wonderful day and that you're enjoying what you're knitting. See you next time.